This episode may contain content of a graphic nature, including descriptions of physical and sexual violence against adults, children, and animals. Listener discretion is advised. Hi everyone, I'm Talia.
And I'm Tanya.
And together we are Crimes and Consequences, a true crime podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Crimes and Consequences. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Talia.
And we are going to present today another exciting true crime
story.
Yes, thank you. But before we start, I would just like to remind everyone to hit the like or subscribe button. And we are going to start our podcast today a little bit differently. We usually do this at the end, but today we're going to make it special. It's a special time.
This is something that needs to be done early. We're going to do a little bit in the beginning, and then we'll do more at the end. It's a segment we call Review the Reviewer.
Yes, where we go over the reviews. But because they're not necessarily reviews, they're comments.
So it's commenting on the commenter.
Commenting on the commenter.
And then we rate them from a 0 to 5.
Yeah.
With what we think their stars should be. Their ratings.
Exactly. So the first one is from someone that absolutely just, I don't know if she's watching every episode, but boy, she can't stand us.
She hates us.
She hates us. So I'm going to give a special shout out to @GlamDolly30.
Hey, GlamDolly30.
She has commented on all 3 of our videos that are on True Crime Daily right now. She says they are beyond amateurish, like a couple of schoolgirls.
Oh, yeah.
Who marks the gruesomeness of a murder out of 10?
Well, we did that as a warning to people.
And who drops F-bombs during a podcast?
I do.
Sometimes I do too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so
hey,
childish.
That's how people talk.
Yeah. And the next one, she said, this was shockingly bad.
Oh.
Unprofessional, amateurish, and disrespectful to tragic victims of crime. In fact, it's the best example I've ever seen of how not to do true crime.
So my question is, why is she watching the second one?
Or the third one.
Oh, she's the third one.
She watched all of them.
Why are you watching us?
Yeah. Or are you just commenting to just be a dick? I'm just asking.
Because, I'm going to have to give her 0 stars.
I'm going to give her 0 stars as well.
0 stars as well, because she's an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, move on, girl. It's not for you.
If you don't like us, move on. Why are you watching us?
I know. Why are you watching? And I get it. Maybe if you're new and you get into 5 minutes and you don't like it, just move on. It's okay.
Yeah. We're okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
She's got to get a 0 star.
Absolutely 0. So we'll cover some more.
Move on, though. Move on. What is it? GlamDolly?
GlamDolly30.
And I have 2 words for you.
Oh,
they start with an F and they end with a U. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for caring.
Yes.
Now move on.
So, okay.
Let's go on.
All jokes aside.
Let's go on.
Now we're going to get serious. And again, I'm just going to tell everyone I laugh. And if it's inappropriate to you, it's inappropriate.
But it's a nervous giggle.
Yeah, it's a nervous giggle. And I never am disrespectful to victims.
No.
Or their families. And I like to make fun of killers and how stupid they are. So, anyway.
And I like to swear.
Yeah. So
it makes me express myself better. It's like an art.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what I could do with the F word. Verbs, nouns, adjectives.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful word. And if you don't like it, just clutch your pearls and move on.
Yeah, just chill out.
So
just chill out. We're just being real.
Yeah, just being real.
So let's go.
All right.
What do you got?
Serial killer and gross child molester, Joseph Edward Duncan.
Oh, I know this one.
Well, he may not be known to someone, his name might not ring a bell, but you maybe remember the case which brought him to justice. In May 2005, Joseph was driving through Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, when he noticed 2 children, siblings, 8-year-old Shasta Groene and 9-year-old Dylan Groene.
This was all over the news.
Oh, it was nationwide. They were playing in the front yard. And what Joseph would do, he would drive through neighborhoods until he spotted some children who maybe would make a perfect target for him. And so he didn't snatch up Shasta and Dylan right away. He waited until the evening to strike.
So he was kind of like stalking them?
Yeah, he was stalking them. Yeah.
Scoping it out.
Mm-hmm. He forced his way into the Groene house where he knew that there were parents and an older sibling. Yeah. He pretended he was just in the house to steal valuables initially. But what he really wanted, like I told you, were the children. That's what he valued most from this.
Gross.
Oh, I know, from this home invasion. The children's mother, Brenda, so when Joseph went in the house, Mother Brenda, she was crying and she woke the children up and she told Shasta, "You need to wake up, someone's in the house." And she told her kids through tears that they needed to come into the living room. And by the time Brenda entered the room with her two small children, their older brother, Slade, and Brenda's longtime boyfriend / fiance, Mark, were already face down, bound with zip ties, and gagged with duct tape across their mouths. So you can imagine this scene, right? Oh, it's horrible. I'm sure it was terrifying. Joseph pointed his shotgun at Brenda and told her to get on the ground so that he could do the same to her. He tied up Shasta and Dylan and took them outside and told them to wait on the grass. He then went back inside the house and he killed Brenda, Mark,
And Slade.
yeah, and Slade.
How did he do it?
He killed them. No, he killed them with a hammer. He beat them to death.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was horrible. And the children were waiting outside while this was all happening.
Thank God they were outside.
Yeah, but I'm sure they could hear everything that was going on.
My.
And at one point, Slade even made his way outside, kind of like stumbling outside. And when Joseph saw him, he went back and hit him some more. And Slade was on the, I guess maybe the porch area, the threshold, and he fell. And police say he ended up making his way back into the house and he died next to his mom.
That is so
I know.
damn sad.
I know. It's terrible. Like, I can't even imagine the horror. Joseph kidnaps Shasta and her brother, Dylan. And Shasta's 8 and Dylan's 9. I did mention it, but I'm just reminding everyone. And the following day, he takes off. So Joseph takes off with them. But the following day, a neighbor saw some blood on the front door of the Groene house, and he contacted police right away. When they arrived, they found 40-year-old Brenda Groene, 37-year-old Mark McKenzie, and Brenda's oldest son, 13-year-old Slade Groene.
All dead.
Yeah, all dead. Blood was everywhere. I mean, the officers were just...
Yeah, you used a hammer.
Yeah, the officers were just shocked. I hate
him.
I know. It was a horrific scene. I mentioned that he drove off with Shasta and Dylan. What he did was, once he got the kids in the car, he tied them to the floor of his red Jeep Cherokee, and he drove them to a cabin that was located in a secluded area in Montana.
This is all bringing back the memories of this case.
This is just terrible. And this would be a house of horrors for these poor children.
They were there, for a while.
When the police arrived to the scene, like I mentioned, there's blood everywhere. And they searched the rest of the house. They found blood in every single room of this house. And they weren't sure if some of the blood was Shasta's or Dylan's, since they weren't in the home when the police arrived.
So where are they?
They brought in a forensic analyst, and it was determined that most of the blood was Slade's. Because like I told you, he was able to walk outside.
He's moving around.
Yeah, stuff. But there wasn't a single trace of blood or anything from Shasta or Dylan.
That's be horrible.
Oh my God. Steve Groene, Shasta and Dylan's and Slade's biological father, was called, and he was just absolutely crushed when he got this news of the murders of Brenda, Mark, and Slade.
And then where are my kids?
Right.
Where the hell are my kids?
Yeah. But police didn't rule him out initially as a suspect because there was some history between he and Brenda. And he admitted to police that he and Brenda had argued the day before. And, they sometimes had a rough time getting along, like a lot of divorced parents do.
Yeah.
But he was eventually cleared after investigators couldn't find anything to link him to the crimes. The day prior to the murder and kidnappings, the family had a barbecue. So police had their hands full with interviewing every single person that was in attendance at that barbecue. But again, law enforcement couldn't find anything to tie the crimes to the attendees. So the next step in the investigation was to issue an Amber Alert. However, weeks passed with no really movement in the case.
Yeah. I remember all of this.
Yeah, I remember it was all over the news.
Oh, man.
The cabin where Shasta and Dylan were being held captive, I mentioned, was in Montana.
Oh, yeah. So it's a remote cabin in Montana.
Yes.
Good luck finding him.
Yeah, out in the woods somewhere, right?
Was it his?
It was like at a campsite, so maybe I did not read anything that said he owned the cabin. So maybe it's something you can rent or
Break into. Oh,
yeah, or break
he
into
broke,
maybe.
It maybe broke into it.
Yeah,
I
he probably didn't want to leave
remember.
a trail. Once they got to the cabin, Joseph said there was a rule that the kids needed to call him Daddy.
Oh, stop it. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, big time.
Dude.
And he said if they tried to run, he was going to shoot them. At one point, he held up a claw hammer and told the children, "This is what I killed your parents with."
Oh.
And said, "I'm going to kill you the same way." Of course, Shasta and Dylan were absolutely terrified.
God, this is just evil. This is evil.
I know. And these are just little kids. I mean,
This is evil.
God, I can't imagine the terror that they felt. Joe was a roller coaster of emotions because after he threatened to kill the kids with the hammer, he was overwhelmed by a sense of regret for killing the family in the first place. Yeah,
Really?
I know.
Okay.
He
Overwhelmed.
apologized. Yeah, he apologized.
But not enough to release the kids.
I know, right? No, because he's a gross child molester.
Yeah.
He apologized to Shasta and Dylan for killing their family.
I'm so sorry I killed your family.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. He would sometimes touch on religion, blaming God for the things he did.
Oh, it's God's fault.
It's God's fault, he said.
No responsibility.
Yeah.
For
No, it's
him.
all God's fault for making him, make him
Okay.
rape and kill children and people, I guess. He would also just say weird shit to Shasta, like how she was the one that taught him how to love. It's just
What?
gross. Like,
What?
I just
What?
can't get over it. Yeah. And despite having these moments where he's like, "I'm so sorry that this happened," he was incredibly cruel
Yeah, I
to
remember
Shasta
that.
and Dylan.
Very cruel.
He took his evilness though to another level when it came to Dylan. At one time he tied Dylan to a log and proceeded to beat him with a stick, and he didn't stop until the stick broke.
And where was Shasta?
I'm sure she was watching it all. Dylan was scared of the dark, and Joseph took advantage of that fear. He often made him cry by calling him names like a coward.
And he's what, 9?
Yeah, he's 9, and I'm sure he was crying, and
I
would be crying the entire time. So, I mean, I don't blame him at all. I would be terrified and crying every single minute I was there.
And didn't he did sexual assault?
Oh yeah, he raped these children, and not just once. However, so they're with Joseph, and it's like weeks have gone by.
Yeah.
One day
torture.
One day during their captivity, Shasta heard a gunshot and saw Dylan drop to the floor, screaming out in pain from a shot to his stomach. Joseph claimed it was an accident.
Oops.
Like, I was moving the gun, playing with the gun. I don't know what he was doing, but I accidentally shot Dylan in the stomach. But then the next thing he did was he put the muzzle of the gun to Dylan's head.
Oh, man.
And he pulled the trigger, but nothing happened. The gun was out of bullets. But this didn't deter him. He reloaded it, pointed it at Dylan once again, and Dylan pleaded for his life and told Joseph, "Don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me." But he did anyway.
Oh, man.
All in front of Shasta. Shasta saw this all.
I remember hearing something about him like tying to rafters. Maybe that's what you meant when you said log. Like he would tie him
Maybe. Yeah.
like, to rafters or.
Oh, he
hang
was
him.
just,
He did multiple things
yeah,
that
he
were
did
just
multiple things.
cruel, just
Horrible. I mean, he
and
just
like
tortured these
nonstop
children.
raping.
Yeah. And
Wow.
he tried to tell Shasta that he killed Dylan with a shot to the head to put him out of his misery because he had shot him in the stomach.
Mercy killing.
Yeah, a mercy killing. But
he can fuck right off.
yeah, he can totally fuck right off. And according to Shasta, after Dylan was killed, Joseph set a fire and burned Dylan's body along with any blood-stained clothing. He then dumped Dylan's ashes into a drain pipe that led into a river.
And where was she?
She was there. And now
my gosh, Tanya, I can't.
Now she's all alone. And
her
8.
brother's body burned. Oh my gosh.
I know.
This why.
I know.
This is very painful.
I can't imagine.
I hate him so much.
Oh, he is such a fucker. Yeah. There's no redeeming qualities in someone like this.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Joseph was really scared of getting caught, so he would travel along the back roads that led into Coeur d'Alene. He promised that's in Idaho. That's where Shasta's family was from.
Okay.
He promised Shasta that he would drop her off at the police station, but only after they watched Star Wars.
What is this?
He said he wanted to see it one last time before he went to prison, but he thought he would also, take Shasta's mind off of this horrible ordeal she's going through.
It's going to distract her from the pain
with a movie.
And can't you watch it? Don't you get YouTube in prison now? I don't know. It seems like you get everything there.
I don't know.
They have iPads and things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
don't they have movie night? I don't know. I've never been to prison. I have no idea
either. But okay,
yeah,
just an excuse to keep her longer.
Yeah, exactly. He took her to a restaurant to get her some food.
Denny's.
Yes, Denny's. And at this point, she had been Joseph's prisoner for 7 weeks. Leading up this trip into town, he had tried to strangle her, but only stopped when she said, "Please stop." And so he did. I don't know why he stopped. And she did tell the police eventually that he threatened to kill her multiple times a day over that 7-week period. But Shasta kept hope alive. She had a strong feeling that she was going to get rescued and that he was going to get caught before he actually killed her. And she was right. While in the restaurant, one of the employees recognized her from the news.
I remember this. It was like a miracle.
Yes. And I remember hearing the call. Yeah. I've heard it on the internet, and it was a woman, and she said, there's a little girl in here, and she looks just like that little girl that's been all over the news, Shasta. And, maybe I'm wrong, but she looks exactly like Shasta. Well, she was Shasta. Yeah. So the police show up, and obviously they arrest Joseph. And Shasta helped the police with filling any blanks in his story, maybe that he had told the police about what happened to her brother and about where they were being held. She took law enforcement out to the cabin so they could collect physical evidence that would assist in.
That'd be hard to go back to that cabin.
My God,
I don't know.
This poor girl,
Oh man, that's very brave. I remember.
She was so brave. She was just so strong, and having to relive everything to help in the investigation just must have been, I can't imagine. After Joseph was arrested, and while he was in custody, he confessed to other abductions and murders. And this part of the story I didn't know about, because I do remember.
I don't know the details. I just know that this wasn't his first time.
Because I remember when he killed the Groene family, and when this all happened to her, I just didn't know there were other crimes.
Wasn't it in California?
Oh, he was all over the place. Yes. Those first recorded murder victims were Sammy Jo White and Carmen Joy Cubayas.
Okay.
These two girls were inseparable. Sammy Jo was 11 and Carmen was 9 at the time of their murders. These two girls were half sisters. Then they were best friends.
Where did they live?
I'll get to that.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I just jumped
They were
the gun all the
best
time.
friends who did everything together, and they were just two little girls that were fun-loving. They loved Disney movies and drawing pictures and listening to their favorite music, which was R&B. They loved going to 7-Eleven and getting snacks.
Too.
Oh, me too. 7-Eleven is the place, right? They lived with their mother, Margaret Delaney, in a motel.
In a motel?
They lived in a motel. And they lived in a motel. Their mother moved around a lot, and they weren't enrolled in school. So really, these two little girls
have a stable environment going on.
Right. So these two little girls were all they had. Right. They didn't have any friends.
They had each other.
Yeah, they had each other. Exactly. On July 6, 1996, both Sammy Jo and Carmen disappeared while leaving the Crest Motel, which was in Seattle.
Okay, so there we are. They're in Seattle.
They're in Seattle. And that motel was located on Aurora Avenue North. And this was a little bit before 11 p.m. The street that they had taken, or that they were on, was known for its drug dealing, and sex workers worked off that street. So it's not exactly the safest
on the street
neighborhood
like
for these
that?
two little kids.
What's the mom doing?
I don't know what she was doing, but we're not going to blame her.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. And it's 11. I mean, it's late. These little girls should not be out. But they were. They went to a nearby restaurant called Taco Time.
Oh.
To get cigarettes for their older brother.
Okay.
And this is where they were last seen. When their mother, Margaret, got home, she was at work, I believe.
Okay. Trying.
And the girls had not returned. She reported them missing. The police initially thought, like in a lot of cases that we've covered, that the girls had run away. But their families, their family members said they would never run away.
And like, how old are they? Wait,
they're 9 and 11.
Where are they going to go?
I know, like
You're not gonna last
teenagers,
very long.
maybe I can understand you think that about maybe a 15-year-old.
Third grade. How are you going to make it on your own?
Right? No.
But I'm sure it happens.
They had their reasons. Sadly, on February 10th, 1998, the remains of Sammy Jo and Carmen were found by a homeless person who was residing in an abandoned barn in the North Creek area of Bethel, Washington.
So he got both of them.
Yep, he got both of them.
Probably used one to, control the other.
I would think so, because they loved each other so much. They were inseparable. I'm sure they would have never left each other to run away.
He just gets worse.
Yeah. The King County Medical Examiner determined that the two girls had been killed shortly after they disappeared. The skeletal remains were found in a field, and not much else.
Skeletal?
Yeah.
So how long was it?
It was almost 2 years. They disappeared.
2 years?
Yeah, they disappeared July 1996, and they were found February 1998. So was that maybe a year and a half?
Wow.
Ish.
That poor mom that whole time.
Oh, I know.
Where are my kids?
I know. And not much else is known about how they died, other than they were...
Because of skeletal remains.
Yeah, other they were killed in a violent way.
Well, how did they know they died right away?
That's a good question.
If it's their skeletal remains.
You're right. How did they know?
I don't know. You're the expert.
I'm not a medical examiner.
Okay. She's not a trained professional.
Not a trained professional.
Just a lawyer. We're just lawyers.
Right.
Ah.
I know.
Well, they have ways. I don't know. I don't know. But what does right away mean? I don't know.
I know. If they're just skeletal, I don't know. Now I'm gonna be thinking about this forever. After the remains were found, roughly about 100 people gathered at Our Lady of Mount Virgin Church to remember their beautiful souls. Sammy Jo's father, whose name was Sam, was of the Gross Venture tribe in North Dakota, so he's a Native American. So he said a few traditional Native American prayers during the service. Sam was staying at the Harborview Medical Center for complications. He was suffering from diabetes, and he was released just so he could attend his daughter's funeral. He trembled while he was reciting the prayers and while family members hugged him. Friends and family members passed around pictures of the two girls as they told their own stories about how Sammy Jo and Carmen lit up their lives in such an enormous way. I mean, they were just fun-loving.
Did they have any clues?
No.
In that year and a half?
No.
No?
No. The last time their family was together like this was just 2 days before they disappeared on the 4th of July in 1996. During his confession, Joseph described what happened.
So that's how we know he did it. He confessed.
Yeah, he confessed.
I don't want to know what he said.
I don't have a lot of details, but he said he took the two girls while they were walking out of the Taco Time and he hit them with a crowbar.
What?
And he called them, he said they looked like whores and gangbangers. Little girls. Yeah.
And how is he hitting them with a
crowbar
outside of Taco Time?
And nobody sees it.
Maybe people saw and didn't care.
Maybe.
People don't like to get involved.
Yeah, they don't want to call the police either, probably. It's the neighborhood. I don't think they'd want the police in. Next in his confession, Joseph told law enforcement about how he abducted and murdered 10-year-old Anthony Martinez. Anthony was kidnapped on April 4th, 1997 in Beaumont, California. He was taken at knife point from his family as they stood about 20 feet from the front door of his house. And I'm not sure exactly how he did it. He was taken in broad daylight, right in front of his younger brother and cousin, and they were also neighborhood kids there.
He just didn't give a fuck. He's just brazen.
Yeah, he
Whatever.
was in front of a bunch of kids. He takes this child.
And what year is this?
97. Anthony had been outside playing behind their house when Joseph pulled up in a car. And he was able to lure Anthony away by offering the group of kids $1 to help him find his lost cat. So everyone warn your children.
I do.
I know, I do too. I don't care if they have a kitten, a puppy. I don't care. Their baby is hurt. Do not. Warn your kids, please.
Oh my gosh. I've told you before, I would pull up when my kids are like walking, hey, I've got some candy.
Hey,
you want to come
girl,
on? I lost my puppy. And I'm like, don't get in my car.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you got to teach your children because child molesters are sneaky. And that's how they get away with it.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Don't think they're not.
Yeah. He held up this photo of a kitten and he held up the $1 and some of the kids ran away. But Anthony...
He held up a photo of a fucking kitten.
Yeah, not like, Oh, he was like, this is my kitten. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is what my kitten looks like.
Fucker.
Anthony wasn't his original target. He actually lunged at Anthony's younger brother and missed. Then he decided that Anthony was going to be his next victim. After Anthony disappeared, a sketch artist was immediately brought in. And the sketch artist worked with the children that were there. He worked with the children for hours. These kids were traumatized to help get a picture of what Anthony's abductor looked like. And they published it on the news and 15,000 leads were called in.
Holy shit.
And the police followed up on every single one of them, but nothing panned out.
15,000.
15,000.
That's insane.
I know. And none of them panned out. The media released that the kidnapper was a skinny white guy with blue eyes and a mustache. And when he took Anthony, he was wearing a red and black plaid button-down shirt and blue jeans, which you probably ditched right away, right?
Did they describe his car?
Yeah, the kids told the police that his car was a white car. I don't think they would know enough to know what kind of make it was, but they said it was a white car. The Riverside County Deputy District Attorney said that he thought the kidnapper was someone who was familiar with the area since, he said the abduction didn't seem like it was like spur of the moment. Like, I just, I'm in a weird area and I'm just going to kidnap a child. Like, he knew what he was doing. 16 days after he was abducted.
Oh, what are you going to tell me?
The nude body of Anthony Martinez was found in a remote area of the desert with his feet and his hands taped together.
God.
Most of his body was buried under some stones, but his face and hands were exposed. And due to the exposure to the elements and to animals, that's where his body suffered the most decomposition.
So he tried to bury him somewhat.
Yeah,
cover him up with stones.
Maybe, like the police couldn't decide whether he covered him with stones on purpose or if the stones fell from higher elevation, and landed there. So it could have been either or. I mean, he could have just dumped his body out in the desert, and who knows. His body was found by a Bureau of Land Management ranger who noticed vultures circling in the sky above Anthony's body. Since his body was found in such a remote area, which was about 130 miles from Los Angeles, this was another factor in the police thinking that the person who did this was familiar with the area. There wasn't much evidence left on Anthony's body.
Yeah, because he was nude too.
Yeah, except there was a partial thumbprint that was left on duct tape that was around his feet and hands. I'm not sure if it was on the one on his feet or his hands. It doesn't matter.
I hate stories with kids.
Oh, these are the worst. I just...
Okay.
It's so... Not that, an adult, but getting murdered
the
isn't
innocence
bad,
involved.
Yeah, it's the innocence involved for sure. Since his face was heavily decomposed, the police had no idea who this child was.
And he's far away, right?
Yeah.
You said...
He was from Beaumont, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. So I think he's probably at least, he was 130 miles from LA. So.
Yeah, so he's far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were able to use dental records, and they determined it was Anthony. And with that ID, the nationwide search ended for him. When the news broke about the discovery of his body, the LAPD was very careful with the information they divulged. The only thing that they would say was that his cause of death was pretty obvious when looking at the body after it had been uncovered by the rocks in the ravine.
What did he do?
The details about Anthony being molested was also kept hidden, but they did say that this crime was the work of a, quote, practiced sexual predator. Unquote. Anthony had been raped at least once, but probably more, because Joseph never let a child go after only raping them one time.
Yeah, that's why I wonder what he did with those girls.
I know. Police estimated the predator was 25 to 35 years old. He was about 5'8". The FBI got involved in the search for this mystery man. And they even brought in an archaeologist in hopes of getting a different perspective on the crimes.
An archaeologist?
I know.
I mean, I could see that if it had been longer than 16 days. But...
yeah, but they brought one in.
Okay.
I know that one kind of intrigued me. I was like, why are they getting an archaeologist? I wanted to be an archaeologist.
I know you did.
I wish I would have done
Instead,
that.
you became a lawyer.
I know, and every day I kick myself. Every single day.
Choice.
I could be somewhere just dusting,
dinosaur bones.
Exactly. Or, wonderful artifacts from the past. But instead, I'm here lawyering. So.
Well, you're podcasting too.
I'm podcasting, yes. But, life's funny that way. Anyway, investigators, along with some FBI agents, made their way through the Joshua Tree National Park. As gunshots could be heard. There was an open gun range nearby, which I'm sure was kind of unnerving. They gathered shell casings and took pictures of everything that could possibly be relevant to Anthony's case. And then they made their way to the makeshift grave. Once they got back from where his body was discovered, which was about 100 feet from the closest road, the authorities were unable to determine...
It's 100 feet from the closest road.
Yeah.
So how'd he get him out there naked?
He carried him. He's a little boy. He's 10.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he's a large 10-year-old.
I was just wondering, was he forced to walk and then...
Oh, God, maybe.
I don't know.
Oh,
no.
I don't know either. Since his body was so badly decomposed, the medical examiner could only say that he could have been dead for as little as 2 days or for as long as 2 weeks. Joseph told police...
but that was 16 days.
Yeah, after he disappeared. So he was maybe held for
at least
couple
2
days, at least.
Oh, man, if not 2 weeks.
Anthony told police the way he killed Anthony was by repeatedly hitting him in the head with a rock. And so I think he killed him right there in the desert.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, before he left him for dead.
During
the time between the murders of Anthony, Sammy Jo, and Carmen, their murder cases went cold. Joseph was sent back to prison
for
violating his parole. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it's something to do with...
Sure, it had something to do with he wasn't supposed to be, 100 feet in front of a school or something. Yeah. But then he was released yet again on what they deemed as good behavior. At this point, he was classified as a level 3 sex offender.
A level 3 sex offender.
And it meant that even though he was being released, he was more than likely going to commit another sexual crime against another child.
So we're going to release him.
Yeah, even though
it's more than 50% more, more than 50% likely.
Yeah.
It's going to do it again. Let's get him out.
Yeah, let's let him out.
But we'll put safety precautions in place. Yeah. He's not allowed by a school.
Right. Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, like no kind of other monitoring, no ankle bracelet or no, we're just going to let him out. In 2004, he attacked and raped 2 young boys that were playing at a local playground in Fargo, Minnesota.
What?
Yeah. And
did he how do we know? Did he admit this?
Yeah, he admitted it. It's actually shocking that he went 4 years without raping another innocent child. I know, but he more than likely did.
I mean, what is he just saying? Oh, I cleaned up my act for 4 years. No, you didn't.
No, he didn't.
You're lying. You're a liar.
He's a sick fuck. He can't stop himself. No. When he was arrested for these crimes, the 2 boys in Minnesota, he was quickly released on $15,000 bail.
For raping 2 boys?
Mm-hmm. And then he skipped town.
I can't even get away with a parking ticket.
I know.
Like, what is this?
I know. It's ridiculous. And he left town and committed even more horrific
So
crimes.
he absconded.
Yeah, he absconded. Because then in 2005 is when he picked up Dylan and Shasta and murdered their family. Joseph was on the run, and the cops were looking for him, but he felt like he needed to get revenge on the judicial system,
Oh,
even
really?
though I think the judicial system's treating him pretty fucking good.
They're pretty, he's being treated real fucking nice.
Yeah,
Considering you're
exactly.
touching and molesting
I
kids.
know, and he's allowed into society. Right. You know, he was locked up so many times, so now he's pissed at the judicial system.
Damn them.
Yeah, and that's when he found himself.
Damn them and God who made him do all these things, not his own.
He's a victim.
Yeah,
he's a victim, Leah. He's a victim.
Victim of the system.
And that's when he found himself right outside of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and went on to target, like I mentioned, the Groene
So he's going to take his revenge out on kids and a family to get to the judicial system.
Right. After his arrest, he told police about how much he wanted to get revenge on society and said, quote, "My intent is to harm society as much as I can, then die," end quote.
Well, how about he just kill himself?
I know.
mean, I'm not suggesting anybody kill themselves, but I'm just saying.
I mean, no, he's just going to hurt children. So.
But you said that he was going to get revenge and then he was going to kill himself.
Yes.
How about we just skip over the
Well, he
revenge?
didn't even say he was going to kill himself. He said he was going to die.
Oh.
So I don't even know if he had that intent. But maybe he thought, he'd just die in a shootout. I have no idea. I'm making things up at this point.
No, she's embellishing.
I am. That'd be pretty awesome, though, if it was a shootout. I'm sorry.
I've got another case coming up.
Oh,
where
no.
It's a shootout.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that one. Okay. When he was arrested, they looked through his car and they found a GPS system, which showed he pretty much just went to schools or playgrounds. Like he just spent his days stalking children.
So gross.
Yeah. Before striking the Groene family, he had kidnapped a child in Montana. And he stalked their house, the Groene family house, for a few days before he swooped in, like I mentioned. In 2006. I always do that. I'm just going to say 2006. Yeah. Joseph pled guilty to murdering Brenda and Mark and Slade. In 2007, he pled guilty to kidnapping, physically harming, and raping Shasta and Dylan, and to murdering Dylan.
Poor Dylan.
It took him 4 more years to plead guilty in court to killing Anthony Martinez in 1997, and he was given 2 life sentences. He wasn't prosecuted for the murders of Sammy Jo and Carmen in 1996.
Wow. They didn't have enough evidence. And just because he confessed doesn't mean he actually did it, but allegedly.
Following the sentencing hearings in November of 2008, Joseph waived his right to an appeal. And he told the judge, quote, "If any appeal is initiated on my behalf, it is done against my wishes," end quote. The judge found Joseph to be competent as he waived his own rights, but his attorneys appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and they claimed that he wasn't competent enough to waive his rights. The Ninth Circuit said the judge should have a competency hearing. This is just wasting the court's time, but everyone has their rights.
Yeah, but the competency, that hearing should have been done
way back
in the original trial,
yeah, you're
not
right.
an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They had a right to request a competency hearing. Then.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But in early 2013,
I do know a little bit about the law.
The judge held a 23-day-long retrospective competency hearing. In December of that same year, the judge issued a detailed order finding him to be completely competent because he's not insane.
He's crazy, but he's not mentally ill.
He's not mentally ill. Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. Being a child molester, I think, is probably a mental illness. I don't know.
I think it's sexual preference, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
After receiving several life sentences and multiple death sentences, he was sentenced to death. He was sent to death row. But while on death row, he was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. He had brain surgery in 2020, but later refused radiation and chemotherapy. Due to how advanced the cancer was, his doctor didn't even think he had even a year left to live.
Yeah.
He died on death row on March 28th, 2021 at the age of 58.
Poetic justice.
Yeah. The family of Anthony Martinez told reporters of how they wished to see him be executed. His father, Ernesto, said, quote, "Knowing that he is now standing before God, being held accountable for what he has done, what he did to my son and the horrible crimes he committed to others, that's the real justice, end quote. Anthony's brother Marcos said that there was less evil in the world now that Joseph was dead. Even though he knew that his death wouldn't bring Anthony back, he found relief.
Yeah, just knowing that nobody else is going to get hurt and this guy just
Exactly.
he no longer exists.
Mm-hmm. Because of what happened to his brother, Marcos said that he will spend the rest of his life fighting against the evil that is still left in the world.
Well, that's a big fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of evil.
And I could go into more about Joseph's life, childhood, and upbringing, but I don't think any of us cares.
I'm sure what his mom wasn't
abused.
nice. Yes,
He was abused. He was sexually abused.
Well, he still had choices.
Yeah.
He still had choices he could make, and he made really bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, he made a conscious decision to do everything he did, and instead of getting therapy or dealing with his own issues,
Seeking help.
Yep. So
I mean, everybody can make a list about all the crimes your mom did to you and how life was hard.
Yep.
And I'm sure maybe his was extra hard, but it's still no excuse to behave that
and I'm
way.
not going to get into it because I really don't care about him. He's dead. He's gone. He's not going to molest any more children. That's all I care about.
He can fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
He's on our hate list.
Very much. Our hate list is long.
But only for the people that deserve to be on the hate list.
Absolutely.
We love all you guys.
Even the ones that leave us bad comments.
We do. We're going to kill them with kindness.
Yeah. Are we going to kill him with kindness?
Well, except for whatever. Dolly Glamour shot.
Glam Dolly, I think that was her name.
That wasn't very kind, Dolly.
No. So do you want to hear a few more reviews or comments?
Are they going to be nasty?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a few nasty ones.
Let's hear.
This is a general consensus of some of the nasty ones.
Oh, God, I can't wait.
At Ziptoid said, great info, but terrible storytelling. I feel like you guys have no chemistry, which I find kind of ironic.
That's fucked up. Because we're like BFFs.
Yeah. And this is like episode 200 and something.
Maybe we're just a little nervous, like in the beginning.
Maybe.
Because,
I think it gets easier every episode we video record for sure.
Yeah. We have a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. Then
sometimes we finish each other's sentences.
At Danielle, it's DANIE.
That's okay.
ILEEN 1190. She said, I can't believe they let them back on. Did they not read the comments the first time?
Fuck off. Can we get to some nice ones?
Yeah, here's some nice
I'm getting
ones.
mad. Those are all 0 stars. I don't know. You got nothing better to do than insult somebody. Let me see your true crime podcast.
Mm-hmm. Let's see you come and tell us.
Let's see you all of a sudden be on TV.
And I'm not a robot, and I'm not a newscaster, and neither are you.
We're
Last time I
lawyers.
checked, and I don't want to tell a story that way.
And we just are not used to all the camera stuff.
Yeah, and we're
Makes
people.
us nervous.
We're people.
Yeah,
And
I am.
I'm giving you my honest reaction to some of these crimes.
And she's great.
And she's great.
Yeah, she's great.
You're missing out if you're not watching or listening.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck them. I don't care.
Okay, it's fine.
Here's some nice ones.
Okay.
At Pam Nunn 9099, she said, "Yeesh, no one's forcing anyone to watch. Don't like these episodes? Just skip them.
Yeah,
I don't feel they laugh at or disrespect or are disrespectful of the victims. They laugh at themselves and side topics, not the girl or what happened to her. I mean, you are never going to be everyone's cup of, and that's okay." And exactly, Pam.
Thank you. Was that my mom?
No. And there was one comment that I saw, and she defended us pretty vigorously in the comments, and I couldn't find it today to talk about it, but her name was Tanya, and there were some numbers, and it wasn't me.
Wasn't you.
I thought it was funny because I was like, and she was a blonde woman, and I was like, it's not me, but thank you, girl. Thank you for all the defense.
Well, here's the thing. You don't like us, move on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't sit there and write. I have better things to do than write negative things
Yeah, me too.
about people.
I just don't watch again if I don't like it.
I assume nobody cares what I think anyway.
I know.
Like, why am I going to leave a review?
I know. I mean, I don't even do it when I have a bad meal or I go somewhere and I have bad service.
No, because we're nice.
Yes, I don't do that.
You guys try to do all this. It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
But we love the people that watch us. Listen to us.
Someone said, it was at gun GNIR 420. I love these women, the type you want to have a coffee cup with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or a drink.
Yes. And I'm going to say another nice one because.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Can you build up my self-esteem? Feeling pretty low.
It's at Brian AREID, 520. EP209.
Okay.
Tanya and Talia are by far my favorite true crime to listen to. In fact, they are the only ones I listen to these days. I particularly love how they get right to the point. 100 out of 10 recommend.
I give 5 stars for that comment on commenting on the comments or whatever we have. 5 stars.
Exactly. So thank you all for your lovely comments.
Yeah.
And
there's so many haters out there in general that we learned that like 60% of everything is going to be people at least that hate you.
And it's like they don't like our swearing, they don't like our laughing, they don't like
people not swear?
Apparently not. So
are we the only ones that say fuck?
I can't believe that because I know plenty of people.
Everybody.
Yeah, everyone. So,
in the court.
I mean,
at the chambers.
Yeah, I know
the judge,
a lot of
they're
lawyers.
dropping up bombs.
Yeah, the judges. Come on, we're all.
Your dentist does. Your doctors do.
Yeah, I mean, just
come on, you do. You swear to. You know it.
My mother-in-law always said she never said the F word in her entire life.
Well, she's missing out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she's a better person than me.
I don't know because sometimes the F word is.
Sometimes you just say fuck.
Yeah, like what the fuck? That's a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, thank you all for watching and listening, and don't forget to hit the subscribe or follow button.
Thank you, True Crime Daily.
Absolutely. Thank
They're
you,
still
True Crime Daily.
keeping us on.
Yeah. So nanny.
So what the hell, Tanya? What the hell is that? Oh God.
At least for now.
We'll see next week.
If you would like more episodes of our podcast, we don't have additional video episodes, but if you'd like additional podcast episodes, you can hit our Patreon. It is TNT Crimes /
TNT. Wait.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
Patreon. Oh my God, I'm messing it all up.
Patreon.com/TNT Crimes.
Thank you.
You can also get them on any podcast app.
Yeah, but I'm talking about our extra episodes.
Oh, our extra, but you can listen to us too.
Yeah, we're on any podcast.
But we don't
app.
want. We want you to watch us.
Yeah, and you can go to your Apple app and you can subscribe there.
Yeah,
you get extra episodes. We release a regular episode a week, and we release a Patreon or members only episode a week. So check us out there.
Ad free. Yep. There's a lot of goodies. Just check it out.
Just check it out if you're interested.
You can go to crimesandconsequences.com and see more.
And we have merch there too.
Wow, we have
if you'd like something very cool.
It says I hate
Christmas
people.
is coming. Get it for your favorite fan.
And all proceeds go to the charity called Crimes and Consequences.
So thank you all again for watching and listening. And until our next episode.
Don't kill each other.
Bye.
Bye.